What's going on, everyone, and welcome to this first episode of I'm Talking. So, I'm Talking is a new series I'm starting, which will basically just be me talking about various video game topics. So, I decided for the first episode we'd talk a little bit about the Dreamcast demise and why it died so early, and if there was anything Sega could have possibly done to extend the life of the system. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is some of the more popular theories as to why the Dreamcast didn't last as long as it did. And one of the first and most popular answers people have come up with, or answer that people have come up with, is the fact that the Dreamcast lacked the ability to play DVD movies. Now, as a lot of you know, the main rival to the Dreamcast, the PlayStation 2, had the ability to play back DVD movies, which was a big selling point for the PlayStation 2, as a lot of people at that point still had no DVD players in their home, and for many people like myself, it was their first DVD player. And this justified a lot of the costs of the PlayStation 2, as DVD players were still relatively expensive at that point, so buying a PlayStation 2 was basically buying a DVD player and a game console all in one, and it actually kind of saved some money. So that was definitely a big selling point for the PlayStation 2, and unfortunately, Sega did not decide to put a DVD player in the Dreamcast, so they kind of lost out on that market. But another one of the reasons people have come up with is obviously piracy. Piracy was a big problem with the Dreamcast, as it was very easy to pirate games for it. All you had to do is run the game onto any standard compact disc or CDR disc and pop it in and play it. There was really nothing more to it than that. So that was a big problem. That could have actually been prevented pretty easily had Sega actually put in some better copy protection into the Dreamcast, or at least delayed, since I'm sure pretty much every console in history has been hacked at some point, but they could have at least delayed it by putting some better copy protection. Really, the only copy protection that the Dreamcast had was its proprietary disk format, which was the GD-ROM, which obviously couldn't be read by standard CD drives in computers. But obviously, hackers found a way around that eventually, and were able to copy the contents off of the disk and be able to copy it directly to a CD. So those are really the two most popular reasons that people have come up with as to why the Dreamcast did not last as long as it could have. There are other reasons, such as poor management at Sega at the time, and the fact that some really good titles never even made it out of Japan. But none of those reasons are what I think really nailed the coffin for Sega at the time. Really, I think Sega couldn't have done much more to prevent the demise of the Dreamcast. I think they did pretty much everything right that they could have. It's just a fantastic console. It has a ton of amazing titles and had tons of amazing features, such as the online capabilities built in and the VMU, which you can see copied by even by today's consoles. Take a look at the Wii U. But I think that the main reason why the Dreamcast died is simply Sega's shattered reputation at the time. Uh, Consumers just didn't see, consumers and developers and publishers just didn't see Sega as reliable anymore. Mainly because of the 32X, lack of support for that. That add-on or console, whatever you want to call it, did not last very long, and Sega just didn't give it the support that it needed. And also, obviously, the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn was unfortunately discontinued very early, as Sega decided to basically just drop support for it really early and focus on the Dreamcast, which angered a lot of people and developers alike. So as a result, a lot of people didn't trust Sega anymore, and they went to other companies such as Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. And obviously, the developers just didn't want to support the console, and even retailers didn't trust Sega anymore, so they didn't really give Sega much shelf space for the Dreamcast. in stores, and I'm sure some stores didn't even carry the Dreamcast at all. But that's the main reason why I think the Dreamcast died so early. I don't think they could have done much more to prevent it. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comments. Maybe even make a video response and let me know your opinion. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.